received your first Grammy Award for the work on Kanye West, his multi-platinum album Graduation.
Woo!
Writing and producing the song Good Night featuring Most Def. So
Yeah.
how did that happen and what was that feeling like when you won that Grammy?
Well, it's Ye's Grammy, but to be a part of that,
Mhm.
because if you told me I was working craft services on the on the movie of Gangs of New York, you know what I'm saying? And he's like,
Yeah.
yo, there's Leonardo DiCaprio, and I'm serving burgers. I'm like, yo, I'm a part of that Oscar. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
It don't even matter.
Facts. Facts.
Just in the whole presentation of the art piece, the album didn't start with Good Morning until he had Good Night before he had Good Morning, and Good Morning is Good Morning. You know what I'm saying? Good morning.
Yes. Yes.
The poetry in that is that our art is not just for that time.
Mhm.
Our art is for later.
Yes.
So I had a song called Lullaby that I believe that I would one day sing to my child about hip hop and what hip hop was. Um, and I got Mos Def on it, and I while I was moving his vocals over, I added these keys, bloom, 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 and it was just me and Mos, and it was to my child, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a child yet at that point. Ye hears it and is like, yo, he's like, yo, but we can make it so much broader than just hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which Ye brings it to an emotion of never saying goodbye, and his verse on there is so cold. It's really elite Ye. To my cloth of Ye that I love of the Midwestern.
Yes.
Um, and then he does Good Morning and fills in the album, and the album starts to fill in. So I provided that little spark in
Yes.
essence of the piece of one of the thrills
Yeah.
of hip hop. So years later, my daughter is in his school and she's in Paris with him. And she has on the uniform and she's screaming, "Good morning, Donda. Good morning, Donda,"
Right.
to the kids, all wearing that black woman's face on their shirt, on the back of their shirts,
Sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the time in graduation, I had met Dr. Donda West, and she talked to me about she told me something that changed my life, right there as a young man, um, and sometimes I tell people, sometimes I just keep it for me. You know what I mean? But it's like it's not for me. It was really, she looked at Ye and was like, that man has taught me so much. I'm so grateful for that man. Right. And at that time, I've never heard a mom call just whatever my bubble
Mm-hmm.
that I was in. I never heard a mom call a son that man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like, or he's taught me. And with that, I was able to help a lot of the people that were legends above me, or older brothers or older contemporaries, and I was able to learn from them because I was able to assist them and teach them. You know what I'm saying? Something.
Yeah.
And so my lifespan has, I believe, grown because of that advice from Dr. Donda West, and the idea that years later, here's my daughter singing to her. and her classmates singing to her,
Mm.
and North singing to her. Um, that's a lot of poetry in there.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's so profound too. Just hearing you say the words artist for later, that's very powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, then hearing that story, that's very deep.
Praise God.
But I know you're working, I don't know if it's finished. I think it is finished. Yeah, your gospel rap masterpiece, Apple Z.
Yeah, Apple Z is finished.
Yeah.
It's out. It's on SoundCloud. We have a reloaded. We have Apple Z reloaded that Dom is making us do.
Mm.
She's the executive over at Just Be, and she's like, "We should do this." And then we was all like, "Yeah, the way the way she does it with I don't know. She's one of those executives, and it's like we trust her, and so we're gonna come up with Apple Z reloaded, which
Mm.
Apple Z is redo,
Mm.
refresh it on the computer. It's one of the last
Yeah.
things shortcuts that Steve Jobs gave us. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
but it's also the the start and finish
Mhm.
of Stanley Kubrick's idea of you know the beginning of man and the end of man. In Space Odyssey 2001, and the Generation Z is 1997 to 2012, and I believe that generation, you know, needed and craved information so much that we created this world. You know,
Mhm.
um, this wireless mouse pad
Mhm.
because I needed the mouse over here. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And
Exactly.
so our misguidedness of what we thought we needed um, kind of put a hurting on our babies.
Mhm.
And so my daughter was born 2012. So she's the start of the next thing, right? And
Correct.
so Apple, Adam, or Apple, uh, is the idea that we are seed form
Mhm.
when we were listening to God, you know, and everything in between doesn't really matter. All we have to do is hit Apple Z and get
Yeah.
back with God,
Yeah.
and we'll be fine. No one, he ain't judging you the way you think he is. And so like, just hit the button. Praise God.
Man, see, I love you, man. You so deep.
Praise God, man.
Yeah,
We was out here, we've
that's
been
deep.
in the game for years.
Hey, people just be picking titles. Hey, we gonna call this Tree for Life. You know they gonna be having no breakdown. But
Yeah,
man,
well,
just
yeah,
heard.
Apple Z, man, and the last record is called Moon.
Mm.
And so what we did was instead of having just videos for each record, we have a YouTube
Mm.
show called the Not So Live Stream, where I do a one take like a comedy special,
Mm.
but for a poet, and you see two one takes on top of each other. So it's
Mm.
just a live theatrical kind of one man show. But we shot it um, we shot it on these acres of land that in the on the day where it was an eclipse. So
Wow.
there was no moon that day. And um it was the day of the moon, I believe it was the 19th. Um and the 18th. 18th, yeah. It was the 18th, the day of the moon, and the number of the moon, and there was no moon. So since we shot day and night, when we blended the two one takes together, it was day and night,
Wow, that's
like
crazy.
like it would be on the moon,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so we said in our description, we was like, wow, we saw the departure of the moon, um, uh, with Neil Armstrong, and when the spaceship departed, um, the camera the camera zoomed up and watched the spaceship go. So I always asked, who panned the camera? And so here's this album of this guy on the moon still praising God because they left him up there. And he's just telling y'all to hit the button.
I love it. Hit that button. Deep, this man. I'll be back, man. You deep. I love it.
Praise God, man. You know,
Yes,
it's
man.
yeah, we just trying to like continue to we have a responsibility. And just
Definitely.
lyrically, I like the bars on the album too. You know what I'm saying? Rap there's some rapidy rap moments. There's some culture moments of just, the way I fall in pocket with the Monifa record. Uh uh she and her genius, her voice, the way it blended, and the way her voice blended with mine felt so good, to use my voice as an instrument. And so that's why when you ask, what do I like, the lyrics or the beat, it should all be one
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely.
Yeah.